Hello, welcome back to Shit by the Fire, and I'm one of your three hosts, Just Jake, and I'm with...
Danger Dan and...
Reptile Man Chan.
the usuals. And we have two new guests with us on the show, and you guys are?
Eric.
Alexis.
Oh, nice to meet you guys both.
They almost sound like they had to say it once again.
And welcome to the show.
Because we did.
It's almost like a deja vu moment.
Deja
Just
vu.
about.
Hi.
Mm-hmm.
Hi there.
Chan, what's the weather like today?
Weather Chan.
Well, it's going to be 72 degrees and partly cloudy. And then tomorrow there's a 75% chance of thunderstorms. Maybe even a flash flood. Let Warrensburg go ahead and drown. But within Greenridge and Sedalia, maybe I can keep them at bay. Let's hope that my positive hysteria will be able to keep them happy enough to not flood the plucking place.
But I doubt it.
Suck a cock.
Thank you, Chan.
No, thank
You're
you, Chan,
very
so much.
welcome.
You're such a dick.
Well, only when I have to be.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
So is the mic on? Testing?
Yeah, finally.
Fine.
Mic
Right?
contest and testing. What?
And I said
Yeah.
mic on, testing.
Some people hear what they want to hear.
Take the dick out your ear, Chan. Fuck it. Can you hear me now?
Fucking have a better hand on it. Maybe it wouldn't be an issue.
Oh, sorry.
Just drag it.
Call me Dad.
Yeah, call me Beth.
Sorry, Mrs. Bighead. Didn't mean to go so cross on you.
Hello, Rocco.
That's all right, Rocco. Okay, I'm so glad.
You can come over to my house for lunch.
Oh, that's fun.
I hope you make street side tacos.
All right. Well, speaking of animals, we were talking about animal cruelty a little bit ago. Chan, why don't you just recap about that, you dick?
Yeah, well, one of them was the fact of, puppy mills and whatnot, and people mostly going to the shopping centers like at malls, like Petland and such.
Mm-hmm. And we were kind of covering the flooding in Houston, Texas a little bit, right?
I don't know. Fuck if I know. Apparently I got dick in my ears. So.
Yeah, you got some major cock in your ears, bro. You might want to clean that.
Well, maybe you should get yourself a girlfriend, then you wouldn't have the fucking problem.
Oh, I don't have to worry about that. They come and go.
Okay, so Chan, speaking of animals. Okay, look. Hey, speaking of animals, Chantry.
Yasenhagen.
Yeah.
People have the tendency to take their animals to the pound, right?
Yeah.
These are second chance animals. They don't need to be bought from big box stores and breeders because, there's plenty of animals to go around, especially these ones that need a second chance out of the pound. Where can people take their reptiles, the places, the kinds of animals that people can't take to the pound?
Well, it's interesting you say that, Daniel, because it just so happens there is a place people can take their uncapable reptiles or unwanted exotic animals of said speech.
Okay, and where is that?
That would be the RMC Reptile Rescue and Sanctuary, located in Greenridge, Missouri. We take in all forms of exotic animals and wildlife. We're also Breeder 2 classified, so we're able to take in local wildlife as well.
As long as it's not what?
Actually, technically, we are classified to be able to take in venomous and whatnot. The only thing is, don't bring me any bears or mountain lions. I do not have the facilities to be able to maintain those. Even though my permit says I can, I don't have the way.
Okay, so don't bring in your bears, ladies and gentlemen.
No bears.
Bears, bobcats,
No
mountain lions, all the above.
Stop it. Stop it. I can't give them a home. I can't call Winnie the Pooh and just sit down giving them honey.
All right,
No.
Pooh Bear, time to get fed.
Oh, bother.
Okay, well, putting all that stuff aside, how can they get a hold of you if they have, let's say, for instance,
You have a website?
Let's say, for instance, like somebody moves out of their apartment or somebody wants to move out of the house. They can't take their snakes with them, their bearded dragons, their spiders. What can they do? How can they get a hold of you to see whether or not you can facilitate those animals?
Well, the best way to be able to contact us would be, one is our Facebook page at Reptile Man Chan Reptile Rescue and Education. There's that page. Very long, but very easy to find. And then there's also emailing at reptilemanchan@gmail.com. You just contact me and let me know what your situation is, and I can do everything I can to help. We start out with basic medical aid as well as relocations, and we even just take in the oddball, off the wall, like, maybe a possum, but
You know, quit bringing my possum into the freaking
I'll bring your
mix here.
possum in every time I
It's a
want because that is the
household
weirdest freaking thing I've ever
possum.
brought in.
It's not the
It
weirdest
is an animal with
part of
5
the
sets of
family.
opposable thumbs. Yeah, you can't even deny that because I've
No,
seen
I mean, I thought it was like incredibly cute when the little possum just used its like little possum human hand to grab things. I thought that was neat.
Yeah,
Right.
I will admit it is cool, but goddamn it, they're gonna steal your soul one day, and I get dibs.
And all your silver shit.
So, yeah,
Bro.
somebody.
Dude, every time when I hold that possum, he comes out to my ring. And like,
Possums love shiny things.
biting out my
shiny
ring
red
and stuff like
hands.
that, just wanting it.
I
Yeah.
like how it's licking his fingers now.
Yeah.
Liking its face now.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh
those-
yeah,
those
my
little
son
guys
was
are
holding them
adorable.
for the first time that day, and it got right up on his face, was sniffing him like crazy, and just
Like,
like,
who are
"Oh,
you?
You ate something good, cause I'm about to get me a taste." Mm.
Well, again, what happened was that. Well, tell us the story, Jen. How did we get the possum?
Well, because of course the work I do, like the local PetSmart there, they know about how our organization works, and one of the employees contacted me about a lady that they'd come across a mother possum who was dead on the road, and she had some pups that were crawling around on her body. So they picked them up. They contacted me. I asked them if they had contacted the local conservation first, which they said that they had attempted, and they were closed. So, of course, with that being said, then we had to take action. So contacted them, gave them a place to meet up. They brought the possums to us, and then we did everything that we could to help one of them, which had sustained injuries. It didn't make it, unfortunately, but Edwina, the one that is now currently the new member of our faction,
Yeah, or Eddie.
has been succeeding quite nicely. But because of the fact that it had bonded with a human being, I had to then contact conservation and allow them to know what had happened with the changes in its behavior and what its conditions are currently. So because of that, she cannot be released into the wild now, but we are permitted and certified to be able to care for her and utilize her as an animal ambassador. So,
Oh, that's always precious.
yes, it is. So now she's a member of our family, as well as one of the most unique garbage disposals I've ever come in contact with.
Well, there are nature's cleaners.
Well, her nutrition is like different. You know what I mean?
Well, not to mention just some of the awesome points about a possum. Like one, the whole rabies thing. Possums rarely ever get rabies because of their core body temperature and everything helps them to fight off many basic diseases and infections. One of which being rabies.
Yeah, speaking of which, that possum has to stay pretty warm constantly, actually. It has trouble regulating its own internal body temperature. Which, number one, I figured that was probably something for like small animals, but marsupials are quite a bit of a different thing because most animals like pups, kittens, your basic animals, they lay down or sleep with the mother close by to maintain body heat. Obviously newborn animals, if they're too far away from the mother, they'll end up going too cold and then can't regulate and then end up passing away. But possums constantly need constant warmth because they're used to being in a pouch.
Yep, directly in contact with the mother's body.
Kind of like a reptile.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
Reptiles don't have their own body heat.
No,
they don't
they cannot regulate body
They're
temperature.
cold-blooded.
So, like we had a clutch of 20 come in, and we didn't even have an incubator system set up. So, all we could do is just find a way to be able to manipulate the temperature to stay within the 80 to 85 degrees. That way, the eggs had an opportunity to hatch.
Well, I mean, we kind of had a dumb moment when we kind of looked around and saw that, on top of the refrigerator, seeing how that heat rises, on top of the refrigerator where heat mostly stays, on top of the rooms, especially when heat does its thing, that was actually the best place for those reptiles.
It was kept them at the perfect temperature, and we wound up with 100% hatch rate. So every
Which
single
is
one of them,
almost unheard of
very,
for domesticated hatchings.
especially because one of them also seemed to had sustained some heat pad burns on the egg. So I was even expecting a deformity, but because we managed to keep them at proper temperature and keep them well with the humidity level well, that one even hatched and is now one of the newest members that will stay with the team. That's the one that has the digital pattern on its scales.
Oh yeah, I love that one.
Yeah.
That's the digital one.
Yeah, and that one's staying. I think that's the only morph that happened, possibly because of the fact that it's sustained.
So, at your reptile rescue, right? So, do you adopt pets or do you adopt them out? And how do you receive them? And then how do you keep them going to either new homes or what do you do?
Pets do get adopted out. These reptiles do. They have to go to a sustained home. They have to go through an application process as well as a valid knowledge of the animal that they're taking in. Most of the time, whenever I adopt an animal out, they will be getting an enclosure as well as a starter kit to get them started, because most people will jump into it like, hey, I just want something fancy.
Right.
But with the way the RMC works, we ensure you have all the tools necessary to get started and you know what you're in for, because not only are we wanting quality of life for that reptile, but we also want that person to enjoy having that reptile there. Otherwise, there you see them as a burden, like, oh, I put so much money into this, and oh my god.
Okay, well, having said that, what happens if somebody gets a reptile from you and decides that this isn't for me because of the amount of work or whatever else?
There is a 30-day recovery policy, but in turn with the recovery, you don't get that adoption fee back, because the adoption fee goes towards the maintenance of the animal of the time it was sustained at the sanctuary. So you can return it. No questions asked. We take them back, and they just continue to be sustained within the sanctuary. The only thing is that you won't. There's no refund. It's a nonprofit organization. We don't do refunds. It's all based on donations. ZoomEd donates enclosures and equipment. Reptimed, they will send in supplies and such, and then local pet places will sponsor as well. So it's nonprofit. So don't be trying to get yourself an extra buck. If you want an animal, you better put in the time. You better put in the money.
Give it the time
put
that's
in the
due.
knowledge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'll be coming at your door, taking them back.
Yeah, repo status.
Oh, without a doubt.
Oh, without a doubt, coming back for it.
Repossession.
Real
I
I actually got asked about doing a show like that called Rep the Repo.
What the hell?
Yeah, it was some freaking people out at Lake of the Ozarks, because my cousin, he owns his own like insurance firm, and he watches my videos on the page, and he was like, you should really do a show. And then the next get together we had, he was like, hey, I got these people that do, you know, the camera work and whatnot, and they were wanting to know if you'd be interested in doing like a Rep to Repo show. And it's like, I'm not like fucking Pawn Stars here going,
Right.
you gotta return that rattlesnake.
You best get it back.
I'm taking it back.
Well, then you best go find it.
Yeah, you best go find it, because it's out there in the field now. I don't already turned it loose.
Yeah, no. However, you know, the stuff that I do is like, just now I'd gotten a hit on there's a reticulated python that was recovered over in St. Joseph. It was found rolled up in the motor of a person's Jeep.
Wow.
And so they're trying to find the owner. Well, no one has spoken up yet. So I got contacted and was like, hey, if an owner doesn't show themselves, will you come take this reticulated python? And it's like, well, yeah, our MO is to ensure quality of life for these reptiles.
So what's the next step for the nonprofit? Because I know that you guys accept donations, right? As a way to keep things going, how to keep the animals fed and healthy and the closures clean and all that other good stuff. What are some of the other things that people can do to kind of help out?
Well, one thing is if people have extra like enclosures or equipment or accessories, they can donate it. But also just one thing that we do is monetary donations, just to be able to feed the animals or get proper aid and care. And I also do educational shows. I do some for the School of Greenridge, Sedalia, and recently Otterville. And I can do birthdays and such. And so we take monetary donations for those. We've done a few of them. But mainly, right now, I have a grant writer that's trying to get some grants written because we want to get a bigger location to be able to house these animals, because it is getting to the point where we're getting bigger, you know. And now that we're in tow with the conservation department, there's a caiman farm in Slater that is about to be shut down, and they're needing to rehouse all these caimans, and I do not have the space for caimans. So,
and it'd be kind of hard to relocate.
Now, what's a caiman?
A caiman is a member of the crocodilian family.
So it's a crocodile.
Small. Like a small
it's a
crocodile.
cayman.
Yeah, it's a cayman.
A crocodile's a crocodile. A cayman is a cayman.
It's like.
Yeah. So essentially, it's smaller, little more dwarfish snout. They're just like they're like the chihuahua of the crocodilians.
So they're kind of about that long and they stay that long.
Mira no.
No, they get a little bit
Yeah.
longer than that.
Okay, like a crocodile
About
will
3
get
meters, or about a
crocodile will
meter.
get between 8 to 18 feet. A alligator will get between 6 to 12 feet. A cayman will get between 4 to 7 feet.
Yeah, so maybe 2 meters, 2.5
Yeah.
meters long. But they do become a handful eventually once they become full grown, because at first you have this cute little dinosaur,
Right.
that you can
And all of
care
a sudden
for
that
and
motherfucker
feed.
just shot up.
Yeah,
Like, whoa.
and then now you got this freaking 7-foot lizard thing taking over the house. What do you do? Well, people don't think about that when they do pythons or anacondas or God forbid, any kind of iguanas.
Yeah. Even the bearded dragons. Most people,
Right, dude. I was getting ready to bring up with like Komodo dragons. Like, do people
It's just
actually have
most
those as
people
pets?
get
Like,
them.
what would you do if you had one come across your animal sanctuary?
Well, most people they will get them because of the fact that it's a animal.
Like, ooh, yeah.
it's like,
but, hold on.
I'm gonna be cool because I got me a bearded dragon. Look at me, how cool I am with my lizard. Oh, holy crap. He's really big now and he's spiky. I can't cuddle him.
Yeah.
He's a fucking
I'm gonna put him down the toilet. He won't fit. Some bitch. What am I gonna do now?
So, what would you do if a Komodo dragon was to come through your animal sanctuary?
Well, currently, right now, I'm in talks. There's a Komodo dragon breeder down in southern Arkansas, and if I were to get a Komodo dragon,
Right.
I would first contact them to see if they had space. If not, then I would have to find a way to house them because
Would you be able to make space?
currently, right now, no, because
Right.
a Komodo dragon gets up to a maximum of 8 feet long. Not to mention that they're
Those puppies get big.
they
Yeah.
eat puppies.
Yeah, they need
I'm just
to-
saying.
Well, they actually
I'm just
need,
asking.
well,
Just a question.
Yeah,
Oh, no,
well,
yeah.
they need roaming area of like at least a half acre.
Yeah, at least because they are very territorial. They claim their area. So,
Yeah.
like me personally, if I wanted a guard animal, Komodo dragon, that's where I'd go.
Yeah, but
Because
you
as
wouldn't be able to
soon-
get through the door either.
I don't give two shits.
He's like, I'm trapped outside. I just got home from work, and the Komodo Dragons at the front
Is
door.
in my house.
Yeah,
doing,
will not let me in.
doing his thing. My goodness.
It's
Can't
easy-
stop it.
It's an easy fix. I learned it from Jurassic Park. You take a goat, throw it one way, you go the other way.
Right.
Bada bing, bada boom,
Yeah,
baby.
your truck would smell like
Moving
straight
past.
goat ass on a daily.
Right.
And you got to sacrifice a
In case
goat
I got it in my house.
just to get to wash your ass.
My foreman would probably help pay for the goats just for that. I don't care.
When you started off on like smaller animals, just to kind of
Right.
we in the herd. No,
If you don't
goats.
go goat, you don't go nowhere. It's goat or nothing, baby.
Goat or nothing.
Jesus Christ.
You know, I could grab Tom Brady and just toss him in there. That'd probably help. He's one hell of a goat.
Yeah.
Bro.
Ooh, God.
Tom Brady.
That's a zinger.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's good. So the animal sanctuary is doing well then.
Yeah, for the moment, yeah.
Okay.
We actually have been able, we successfully adopted out 7 animals within the past week.
That's awesome. As
So,
long as they're finding a home.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Carrying
Good
owners.
The best part is it's opening up space because right now we currently have 13 corn snake. No, wait, hang on. Uno momento. 16 corn snakes, 2 ball pythons, one of which supposedly is going back to their owners tomorrow.
Awesome.
hopefully.
So you actually got that thing to eat now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up earlier. So like,
So it was sick when you got it.
Well, the problem is with ball pythons is they're very picky eaters. They will go through a phase where they will not eat. They will not consume any, whether they're live rats, frozen. They just won't. Whether it could be from a strike incident where they could have tried to strike at a live prey and then hit the enclosure, hit a branch. Then
Wow.
after that, they're like, "Fuck this! I'm not fucking with it.
Yep. I ain't do nothing
I'll
for a
just
moment.
go hungry before I fucking hurt
Yep,
my
I'm
shit."
starving.
Yeah. So
what'd you do to like did you do anything to like help it along?
Well, the one that the owners brought in, because I knew these were owners that truly cared about their animal, instead of having them relinquish it, I had them signed to do a care time. So essentially, I would take place of a vet, I would take care of them, and I was not liable if the animal did pass,
Right,
because
right.
I'm
right.
Yeah,
not a pro. But if I was able to successfully get this animal back into a
full
healthy
health.
stasis, then he would be sent back with them, and they would just do a monetary donation equivalent to the fees that I would incur in its care.
Right.
So
That's awesome. So people can actually give you their animals if they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, in an attempt to try to get their animal better,
yeah,
basically.
like a lot of my vet friends call me the middleman because I'm the one that I have an advanced knowledge of basic reptile medication. I just don't have all the equipment to technically be of a veterinary standpoint.
Right,
But
but
you're
I mean,
doing
that's
the
why you
best you
have them,
can.
though,
Yeah,
also.
that is
You're
why
doing
I
the best
have
you
them.
can with what you have.
I can keep them stable until it's time to get them to a vet. But like with this ball python that I was given, it was just a matter of getting them comfortable enough again to be confident to eat. So by this one, it was in a rack system. Well, the first thing that I did is I manipulated their enclosure to look like a natural habitat
Right.
to make them feel comfortable and safe.
Right.
By doing that, it made it easier for that snake to rely on actual hunting.
So
And
it gets to hunt
then-
for its own
So-
prey within its own
To a
Yeah,
degree,
it basically
because-
needed to work for it, basically.
Yeah, because then I started off, I'd do frozen,
Right.
and I would just thaw them out and then ensure
For
that the body
starters.
temperature was the same body temperature of a live mouse, and I would manipulate it to move like it was live. And
So how'd you go about doing that when it's frozen? If you don't
well,
mind me asking?
essentially, I set it in scalding hot water, let it thaw out
Right.
for about 5-10 minutes, and then after that's been done, I take a blow dryer to the core of the mouse to, mimic the
to
heartbeat.
heat it up,
Yeah.
and so when the snake looks at it, and so it has heat, right?
Yeah, and then I would grab it with the tongs, and then I would manipulate basic, movements, crawling around an enclosure, or even coming up, acting like it's sniffing the snake.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
9 times out of 10, whenever it's doing that whole introductory kind of move, that's when they'll
It
hit.
strikes and
This one
gets
took a
it.
little bit longer, just because it was so resilient to try and strike. That what happened was I would do it at night, because a ball python, also known as a royal python, is a nocturnal hunter.
Ah, yes.
So by doing it at night, it felt a lot more confident. So after the second try of that, it actually successfully ate,
Mm-hmm.
and then it was just
awesome.
after that,
Awesome.
Good
it
to
was
go.
just- yeah,
Simply awesome.
Progressively better.
and so now it's back on a basic eating habit. The only issue is once they do change enclosures, there's a 1-week stress period. So
Right.
the owners I will have to inform them of that and let them know to prepare for that, because there also is times where I had one where it wouldn't eat no matter what. So I had to force feed. What I had to do is I would take a mouse and kind of wiggle its way into the mouth. Once they open the mouth, to
It's
kind
there.
of and then feed it halfway through the throat gently, and then you lock the teeth onto the mouth where they have no choice but
to swallow.
yeah,
Well,
swallow.
the
But to
teeth are
swallow.
curved, so they only go one direction.
Exactly. And unfortunately, this is how it happens, because royal pythons are very picky eaters, and if they sustain any damage or injury, they will not eat.
Wow.
You have to literally retrain them to eat again,
Right.
and it takes a long time to do that.
Yeah, it does. That's what it sounds like.
Wow.
How long has the ball python been with us?
That current one has actually been with us for about a month.
Okay, so it took a little bit of a.
Well, within the first 2 weeks, it was back on a regular eating schedule. It's just
right, but the enclosure part was important.
yes,
So I mean, that's something actually to stress to people who are hoping to own exotic pets, is that if your pet is not acting like as it should, because it's still an animal.
the one thing to stress to people, especially when it comes to reptiles, is that you can look on YouTube every damn day. You can look at Facebook all the fucking
Only
time.
if you don't know something.
But the only thing is, every reptile is different, just like every animal, every human being. So just because one person has them in a rack system doesn't mean that the rack system is going to work with that snake. Most of them want a natural habitat, which is
Right.
why
So would you dig into bigger enclosures?
I personally, if I'm going to house a reptile, all of my personal reptiles have a naturalistic terrarium. They are set up in an environment that mimics their natural habitat. So not only are they visually entertaining to look at, but they also are,
Comfortable.
100% comfortable, because they feel like they're at home. They're in their natural environment.
So what kind of bedding should people use as far as snakes goes, besides paper and
That's just
bullshit to line in a drawer?
It all depends on the actual serpent, because desert types, you can do a mix of calcium sand with crushed walnut. Crushed walnut helps hold heat.
Yep.
But it also can be a bit of a pain because it does have a tendency to mold, but that's why I mix it with a desert sand calcium mix. Because then you have the heat sustainability of the crushed walnut, but you also have the dryness of the sand.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the more, coniferous kind of snakes, like the royal pythons in the forests,
Yeah, they have
you
to
can
hang.
use coconut husks or even aspen. Do a combo. I usually do a combo. I always like to do 2 different types of substrate because it allows a variety, as well as it helps to maintain humidity and temperature in the enclosure.
Yeah, that's
So what age would you say that your python is?
Which one I have?
How many do you have?
Well, the animal ambassador, my personal one, is Deuce, and he is at least 7 years old right now.
All right, so 7 years
He's
old.
about at the max of his.
Do you have any
adult
juveniles?
No juvenile pythons,
Not yet,
but
at
I do
least.
have juvenile corn snakes.
Okay.
Yeah, and those are getting adopted out.
Right.
I think we have
As a
that's
matter of
pretty
fact,
cool.
Mm,
as a matter of fact, one of the new owners is here on the show today.
Yes.
She got the pick, and so a lot of people in the
Awesome.
corn snake community would probably call me a dumbass for it because it's technically what's known as an albino butter, a meal, and
That's
yeah.
basically what it is.
These
Right.
guys are morphs. They're not your average. These are cosmetic fancy pants corn snakes. I have bloods, albinos, amels,
Right.
and butters.
Right.
And so these guys usually go between 80 to 120 bucks a piece, but
But what's your price for the ongoing consumer? It's like say
The
if I was looking for
ongoing- the
like a
ongoing-
corn snake.
ongoing
What would
consumer
be your price?
for my hatchlings, because these are hatched. These are not adopted rescues. These are hatched.
Oh, I'm just
cared
saying.
for, and they currently are in the juvenile age. So right now they start at a minimum of $80.
Mhm.
$80 for a normal, and then it's $95 for a albino, and then $100 for a blood, $120 for the lavenders.
Right. So is there a specific color that?
It's the colors. People are after the colors.
Right.
People are after the colors, the patterns. Depending on the color or pattern, the price goes up or down.
Corn snakes are really fucking beautiful. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the thing is, though, is that there's a difference between natural corn snakes and domesticated corn snakes. Domesticated corn snakes have your digital patterns. They have your bright reds, your oranges, even some of your violets or purples. You know what I mean?
So would there be an actual a pink corn snake?
I think so. Well, the thing is about these particular corn snakes is that they really don't survive in the wild for long because of their color. There's no camouflage there.
Yeah, it's true. So natural born predators, kind of like hawks and other big birds, vultures, all the above, it will swoop down, pluck them off real quick.
Oh yeah, right
all
off
because
the
they
bat.
see them slithering right through the grass.
Because there's no kind of natural camouflage there.
I'll be damned.
A purple corn snake doesn't belong.
Right.
They belong in the dry grass.
Mine.
Albinos, albinos get plucked out right off.
Swooped.
Yeah, no
Swoop.
issues there. I could see you freaking from a mile away, dude. You're dead.
Bye bye.
Yeah.
Yep. Talons
You're freaking
out.
dead.
Gotcha. You're mine.
Yeah.
You're done. Damn it. Mine.
All right, back to our
Awesome.
guests. Do you guys have anything to put in as far as snakes go? Reptiles.
If you're an albino, stay hidden.
Yeah, as best you can.
Right. Get in tune to your.
And you're going to be the lucky new owner of a new corn snake. How do you feel about that?
I'm actually really excited.
Awesome.
Really excited. Have you owned snakes before?
No.
So
No?
this will be a
Catch
first.
them in the field. That's about it.
Oh, that's cool.
What about you, Eric? Did you own a snake before? Have you ever owned
5.
5 snakes? What
5
kind?
snakes. Yeah.
Uh,
Chris.
4 pythons and a corn snake.
Okay. So this is actually nothing new to you.
No.
It's something new to her, so you'd
Oh,
be able
that's
to help her
I'm
out with
probably
the care
gonna
and
try to
stuff.
steal her, but it's not happening.
No.
Right.
I
Right.
still I have 2 pythons right now, and they're at a friend's house. She's been taking care of them for a while. I had a house fire, and
Ooh,
she took over while I was in a process,
Mm-hmm.
and they're good where they're at for the moment.
It's always good. You want to make sure that your animals are cared for properly anyway.
Yeah.
She's a retired conservation agent, and she goes around to the schools and does shows and does stuff at the local Air Force base.
Mhm.
She's been working with snakes for I think 40 years now. She has 13 of her own personal snakes.
Right.
Wow.
But she,
That's awesome.
good place for him for sure. She's
That's
kind of grown
good.
attached to him.
Wow, your house caught on fire?
Yeah, 4, 5, 6 years ago, had an attic fire, and it was Christmas Eve, so it was really cold. And when the firemen opened the door and had the fan set up, my enclosures were right inside of the first entryway of the house.
Mhm.
So my lowest snake, she was my oldest, she's about 7 years old, a ball python that I rescued. She didn't make it because of the cold air, but I got the others out and under my coat and took them over there to my neighbor's house.
Mhm.
She's had them ever since.
Right.
Jesus, dude.
Wow.
Oh, it
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I mean, winter's coming up,
Wow.
dude. You know, everybody's going to be firing up their furnaces and their fireplaces, and nobody really thinks too much. Well, some people do. Others don't really think too much about fire safety.
Too many people plug in 6, 7, 8 space heaters in a house and don't expect to have issues.
Overload the circuits.
Mhm.
You run into voltage drop. You run into issues with the, with the functioning machines themselves, and eventually your house can catch on fire.
Well, and with a lot of rental homes,
That's terrible.
People don't understand the age that's on those wires and what they're really capable of carrying,
Mhm.
and it's really easy to overload them. That's for sure.
One spark, do it up.
What are some? Well, I guess you're what? Volunteer fire department?
Nope.
Do you know folks about the volunteer
Oh,
fire
yeah.
department and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. What are like some things people could probably do to?
Well, one thing they told me, I guess it's a little late when you hear this, but they put fire alarms up my house afterwards. I had no smoke alarms anywhere,
Oh wow.
and
Right. Never thought of having them. Right.
Nope, never.
Right. Never crossed your mind at all.
That's the first thing they asked me whenever they came outside. They said, we didn't see any smoke detectors in the house, and I said,
True
yeah,
fact.
that's
You're right.
because they're not any. But
Mm.
they hooked me up with some immediately. But
Would a smoke alarm in an attic be?
yes, a smoke alarm in an attic I think is a great idea, because by the time you smell smoke or see anything from activity in your attic, at that point it's rolling
too
pretty
late.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if
Wow.
you had an alarm,
Yeah, you would at least be able to get people out of the house and maybe
Right,
some
move,
valuables,
move,
like
move,
important
go.
stuff.
it'd be a lot more beneficial than not. That's for sure.
Damn. Dude, well, actually, there's a new house being built down the road, from where we're at. Actually, just a few miles, like you're heading towards the next town over. I saw the aftermath of like the day after their house burnt down, and it was like this really big, beautiful house, and complete down to ashes. Now they're rebuilding. They're using the same foundation that they had before,
Yeah.
and they're rebuilding the house. But I mean, just the pain and anguish of having to lose so much. I mean, just the smoke itself does so much damage. People don't
Absolutely.
understand.
Absolutely. My fire was in a stone house, and it was contained to the attic, and we were able to save a lot of things. But as you said, the smoke. My furniture, there was no getting out of any of my furniture. My clothes, my bed,
Right.
all my bedding.
Right.
in
All
the
that's
house.
ruined.
And
It's all ruined.
Solid objects. The refrigerator was cleanable. We were able to save a bunch of my guitars and stuff. But it's anything material
Is lost.
There's no way. Yeah.
Wow.
It kind of sucked.
I mean, we nearly had a house fire here the first week that we moved in. The dryer had caught fire. The drum that was inside had eventually, I guess the belt that had spun the drum had got caught up in the motor somehow. The drum had stopped spinning, but the dryer, because it was an older dryer, did not have an automatic shut-off when the barrel stopped. So then the heat just kept going. The heat from the coils actually ignited the lint that was in the catch and all the way through it, because dryers just have lint all the way through them and all the way out to the exhaust tubes. And if it wasn't for my brother smelling smoke running out of his room downstairs and being able to unplug the dryer and get the little bit of fire that had started, the dryer was set directly underneath, the only way for him to get out. So him and my daughter would have been trapped downstairs with a fire underneath the stairs, all wood stairs. So the whole house would have gone up.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, because there's 2 windows downstairs, so
That's
those would have been
very fucking dangerous.
yeah, those would have been really big breathing points for air to be drawn into the house from underneath,
Oh my
and then
God,
basically
just a
be
raging
pushed out.
inferno.
I mean, it was
Oh
like
my
perfect.
God.
I mean, the whole house is basically rigged with the dryer being underneath the stairs in that particular situation.
And there's no windows. No
Basically
nothing.
like a big ass
Nothing but
rocket
concrete.
stove. Yeah, we're all
Oh,
living in rocket
fuck, dude.
stoves. Just the smallest thing ready to ignite it, dude. It's just ready to go up.
It brings up a good point. you know, I'm always the kind of person that thought I could handle anything or whatever.
Mhm.
So my house was on fire, and I was like, oh, no big deal. Don't worry about calling the fire department. I had a coat that I put over my hands and was putting out fire in the attic.
Right, snapping out the flame.
And I learned after that, and after seeing a friend's house catch on fire, that it's not a bad idea to have a fire plan in your house. Discuss it with the people that you live with, and if something does happen, because let's face it, you're one person, and that's a house fire. You need to have
That's
a plan.
a pretty big fucking fire.
Yeah, it's realistic. Like,
No doubt.
You're not going to run around and go find your favorite shirt. You need to get out of the house to get to safety. And having a plan does not hurt. Because I was completely...
Planting fire extinguishers
Well,
in
and the other
corners,
thing, too, is
having
you're-
them sitting around,
yeah,
right?
well-
And water system.
Something.
However,
Well, I mean, the thing is
Right.
that you're not even thinking about the chemicals that are burning off from those materials that
Exactly.
are burning. And those, even if you smell smoke, you're inhaling the intense amount of chemicals that are being, let off from the fire itself. So you're talking about paint, you're talking about
Right.
insulation,
Do you
you're talking
remember-
about plastic.
You're
do
unaware
you
of
remember
all
the
toxins.
the old
Mhm.
house fire up there in Snelling?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's exactly what comes to mind. Like,
Just burning metal. I mean, the
Just
heavy,
talking about house
heavy
fires,
metals
bro.
in the smoke. I mean,
devastating.
those are straight toxins that are entering your
Devastating.
body by the breath loads.
Yep.
Okay, and every moment that you're spending within that smoke, you run
Oh
the
my.
risk of passing out as a result of smoke inhalation from toxins.
Right.
And eventually the heat will get you. And
Right.
eventually the fire will get you.
It'll burn up.
That's
Wow, dude.
that just in my house fire. I was in the attic fighting it, and I would scoop. I had a big kettle. I was scooping the burnt insulation, handing it down through the attic hole, and my friend was throwing it out the window to the yard. And we're going back and forth.
Right.
And crawling back and forth was the last thing I remembered. I woke up in an ambulance from the smoke.
Mm.
They said what I did was really ignorant and really stupid, but in a way it saved my house. They were able to come in and take everything out without using water, so I had no water damage. So I was able to rebuild. But I didn't think about it. I had a shirt tied around my face and thought I was fine. I was coughing a
all
little
that
bit, but I
carbon,
was,
right?
I was
Right.
taking over.
And this is why the fire department, when they go into homes, they have full facial masks
Oh yeah.
with oxygen.
Right.
Because they have to have a closed system for their own air to depend on, because any kind of smoke, regardless of whatever kind of filter you put over your face, you're still inhaling these dangerous toxins. So Jesus, dude.
Wow.
Well, I'm glad you're still with us, and I'm glad you're able to rebuild and
Right.
get your shit back, dude. That's
Yeah.
fucking terrible.
Rebuilt it and sold it.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
yeah, I
Got
don't
rid of
blame
that.
you.
Yep. I ain't
Yeah.
sticking around.
That house.
Later.
That house was a bad fire and a bad relationship of 10 years. It was time to move on.
Yeah,
know
I
that?
don't freaking blame you. Once you
Amen
get
to
burnt,
that,
once
man.
you get burnt by something after a
Right.
fucking decade, dude, you
Gotta go.
yeah,
It's time to go.
it's about time to go
Bye-bye.
on that one.
Wow.
Yeah, no doubt. Jesus. Well, I know earlier that we were touching on subjects about like puppy mills and
Right. I was just
animal farms.
reading up on that.
Right.
It's actually quite terrible.
yeah. I mean,
you know
think
what I
about it. These
Poor
animals.
dogs.
Well, animals, cats, domesticated animals especially, are
They're born
susceptible.
in kennels. They're bred in kennels, and the
Well,
life.
I mean, they don't know any other life. So the
Right.
thing is that
so it's up to you to make that difference.
it's up to people to take care of them and not abuse them.
Right.
And again, like I read an article earlier on Facebook
Right.
about how there was like this aftermath and of somebody was driving down the road and decided to shoot some kind of like bow and arrow or something.
Some kind of crossbow.
Yeah,
type
it was a
material.
crossbow. So they
Right.
had shot a crossbow at a heifer and shot it right beside the eye, and it entered right beside the eye and had exited to the back of the neck, the full extent of its head. So I mean, you're talking about a large full-grown heifer, right, with just the fin sticking out the front near the eye socket, and maybe the first 3 inches of the arrow sticking out the back of the head. So that poor animal had to be put down as a result of it. Now, number one, just the fact that somebody would do something like that just
It's
seems,
It's inhumane.
not
to them.
inhumane and complete fucking ignorance, because there's a time and place.
Right, because if you can
To be
fucking
shooting
do it,
shit.
do
Yeah.
it right, kill it once, don't have to shoot it twice.
But the thing is, though, is
I'm
that,
just saying,
when
do it
it
right.
comes to farm animals, there's no need for that. There's no need
Really cool.
for farm animals.
Mm.
There's
Right.
absolutely no need to fucking to
No
hurt
need to
other people's
harm
farm
them.
animals.
Right.
And especially, again, people people who keep animals in enclosed spaces, like inside the homes where fecal matter's on the floor, where there's trash everywhere,
Right.
build up, that's again abusing the animal because animals do not live like that.
I just got a puppy from a situation like that.
Yeah, I mean that kind of just brings me up to my.
I was gonna say.
What was the conditions that you saw in that house?
I mean, apparently they did not let the dogs outside, so there's like poop and pee everywhere. There's just clothes laying around. It smelled like feces, like it burned my nose. It was bad in there.
Inappropriate bathroom situation.
Yeah, it was disgusting.
To say the least.
Right.
And he still smells like I gotta give him another bath.
Right.
Reminds me a lot like that little green kids play place out there. You walk in and it's like new vinyl and urine.
Ew. Yeah. Speaking of play places, they really need to disinfect those a little bit more often. I mean, well, because people by themselves, people naturally, especially little kids, they don't really think about hygiene too often, so they're picking their nose and picking whatever else. And
apparently pissing their pants.
And pissing their pants at the top of the damn tower on their way down to the slide. You know?
Or when they come face to face with a guy with tattoos and a fucking mohawk, that tends to happen too. They piss themselves.
Did you want to cover that story or no? You want to leave it at that?
I will definitely cover that damn story.
Okay, tell me what happened, Chan.
So I took my son to a birthday party that was scheduled unbeknownst to me with people
by
from
the Coalition of Lumberjacks,
yes.
Central Missouri.
I have never seen so much flannel in my life. I would have thought it was an Ellen DeGeneres show because of the amount of flannel. It wasn't even the good flannel. It was the printed flannel.
Oh my god!
You know, like I like good flannel, but goddamn it,
I can appreciate a good flannel.
Yeah, I appreciate a good flannel, but you're gonna have printed flannel, not even the fucking fabric. Come on,
Here we go.
Grow up.
Here we go.
Find your place.
Right. Okay, so what happened?
Anyway, went to this gig,
right,
and then I walk in all my tattooed, fucked up glory. And I look upon a sea of wannabe lumberjack, Shawshank Redemption worshipping. I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna pretend that I'm a Southern Belle when actually I'm a Northeastern doorbell. Like just poke, 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 bing, bing, bing,
Right.
bing, bing. That cat died. And they're all in their little groups just caterwauling it up. And so, of course, I took a scan and I knew that I was fucked. So I just sat next to this little kind of like bar thing where parents can watch their kids. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to post up here because obviously nobody wants to be around the guy that's covered in ink.
Ew, he has some kind of
Oh my god, he's got tattoos. He's probably been to prison. Oh, better keep your bags closed, ladies.
A funny story about that neck tattoo.
Okay, well, the only reason why they would assume you were ever gone to prison because of your neck tattoo.
Yeah, but the best part, what I like about myself is the fact that I am tattooed head to toe, but then I'm a pretty fucking awesome guy. I'm so fucking awesome. I have my own stand-up comedy show going on here in Sedalia soon.
Really?
Yeah,
Soon?
I'm a funny fucking guy.
We're about to see.
I'm funny.
Yeah.
But
If anyone else didn't catch that
motherfucker.
reference, it's a Boondock Saints reference. If you didn't catch it, fuck you should be neutered.
Right,
Terrible,
castrated.
Chan.
Hey,
Castrated at the
both of my
stake.
kids, they were conceived during the intro of Boondock Saints. I was like, I make sure.
Does that mean that you only
You're
know
fucking so
of one
funny.
movie?
I know
Get
that
your
at
freak
least
on?
at the 90% shot that if I'm going to be having sex with a woman and Boondock Saints is on, good chance they're going to get pregnant.
Now is that a shout out or?
I'm just saying, you want yourself a ginger kid.
You put on Boondock Saints and invite
Boondock
you
Saints, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so back to the play place fiasco. So, of course, you've got Flannelly and Flanneller over there, just the occasional stare and like, and it's like, I know what the fuck you're talking about. You guys are wondering like how much time I did or like how many people I stabbed or whatnot. You know what? The only thing I'm about to murder is their fucking cupcakes over there. Not really, because I'm on a goddamn diet.
Right.
Not to mention I'm on fucking testosterone boosters, so I'm fucking pissed
you're
off
fucking
anyway.
amping right now.
I'm either wanting to feast, wanting to fuck, or wanting to fight. And god damn it, none of those are being met here in this goddamn facility. So of course,
So
my
which
son,
one is he gonna be?
Well, I'll tell you.
So my son is playing with his friends, and then there's this one kid, scrawny, built like a mop head freaking beanpole.
Right.
And then I hear him shouting and whatnot, and I notice a pattern, and I notice he's shouting at my son.
Mm-hmm.
And then at one point, my son pushes him over. It's
Right.
like, good on ya. Fucking take that tonker down to the floor.
Take her down to
You're
the
gonna
floor.
fucking talk back. You're gonna get yourself flat on your back, fucker.
Yeah.
But then,
Get your ass laid out real
and so
quick
then-
now.
but then
Oh.
this number 2 pencil motherfucker gets up and he picks up this little obstacle thing, like big foam, like one of those vinyl wrap foam blocks.
Yeah.
That's like, yeah, it's kind of safe to play around, but if you're gonna fucking throw it at somebody, it's gonna fucking hurt.
Yeah.
And he starts walking towards my son, who's minding his own business, going
Right.
and
Just
hanging out with
trying
his
to have
friend.
a good time.
So as he walks within my path, all my glorious testosterone-based anger, no feasting, no nothing face, and I see this kid, and I'm just like,
Did you punch
All
a
right,
child?
I did not punch a child.
You fucking
However, it
fist
did
down
compute
when it comes
within
to
my
child.
primal brain.
Okay.
Right.
But what I did do is I
Testosterone.
shoved the obstacle in his hand. As soon as he came into my path, I shoved it so hard he fell on the ground. And then as soon as he looked up, I just leaned over the bar and stared at him. And I straight fucking chameleon peacocked it out. I just showed my tattoos and I just
Did you
stared.
flex, Jen?
I didn't have to flex. I got freaking spiders and skulls on my arms tattooed.
Scary
So
fucking
I
prison
mean,
dude.
I am probably the things that mothers tell their kids that they have nightmares about.
Like not to bring home. Like
I'm the thing took the boogeyman in the closet and said, "You're grounded."
The Baba Yaga.
Yeah.
Baba Yaga.
Two-
Baba Yaga writes me essays. That's how bad it
Essays,
was.
really?
But
Or
he
do you
just
copy
he
essays
just
from
sat
your own?
there staring at me, and I could tell in his little beady eyes that he was trying to decide whether he was gonna die right then or just wet the fucking mat.
Right.
I'm pretty sure he wet the mat because it smelled a lot like ammonia after he got up and left.
Right.
But then after that, I was like, okay, just I did my bit
right.
chill.
and just
Right,
calm down.
right.
Otherwise,
breathe.
the last thing I need to do is come back.
Yeah, because Brick was fixing to kill a guy with a trident.
Just,
Yeah.
hey, here I am.
Yeah, I
Took
stabbed
him
him
out with a pool noodle.
Fuck, I stabbed him in the fucking heart with a trident.
Yeah, hey Chan, I've been meaning to talk to you about that. You're probably wanted for murder. You might want to lay low at somebody's house, like a family member or something.
Oh
Yeah.
man, that would suck. But so
It got
he
bad,
went-
didn't it?
of course,
man?
he left
That
Jazz.
escalated quickly.
He left my son alone, but then he kept every time he'd go and play on something, he'd look back towards me, and unfortunately,
He's
I
looking
kept
for you to
I
be
kept
watching.
making eye contact with him, so it was just like,
Yeah.
Right.
So he got the point, right?
yeah, he got the point because he left him alone after that.
What about the gang of lumberjacks?
Well, the gang of lumberjack was too busy talking about how many swings it takes for them to knock down a tree. They didn't even notice what was going on.
Right.
I mean, I was
Jesus.
literally the only parent there watching the kids. So you got this freaking tattooed fucker who's
At least you're
being
fucking
more of a
responsible.
parent
Apparently.
to this gaggle of tiny humans than freaking these guys. I don't understand big cities, honestly. Because it's city people, they like.
Where were you at?
I was at a goddamn fucking
Birthday party.
birthday party in one of those fancy little
No, like,
like
where at?
conglomerate of Kansas City.
Oh, all right.
It was like all the suburbia people that want to act like they're from the country with their
country.
the printed flannel, but then they're not going to be an actual country-like person and actually watch their kids. Because I guarantee you, none of those fucking kids that ever had their ass whooped. Not a one of them.
Right.
Drives me insane. Because then, I mean, I might
Undisciplined
I might be a little bit
ruthless.
strict on my kids, but
Trust
God
me, been
damn
around
it, they're
kids
the
a lot,
most
dude. I know how kids
well-behaved kids I can ever ask for. But we are at a point that just watch your kids. Otherwise, some tattooed guy's gonna shove a freaking obstacle course
Be a
off them and
fucking
make them
parent.
pee
Be out
themselves and
there.
then
Be
traumatize
in
them.
tune with your kids.
Yeah,
and
that's the other thing
always
too. Is
be
that like
on the
me
lookout.
personally, if
Always
I'm
be on the
having an
lookout.
issue with a kid, I'm always gonna take it up with.
Dad
If my kid is having trouble in school,
Right.
I'm gonna take it up with the teacher. Like, hey, is there something you can do? And now, if the teacher kid doesn't do anything or fix the issue, I'm gonna go to the principal.
Right.
If the principal can't fix anything with it, I'm gonna go to the parent. And at this point, if the parent doesn't fix it after the first time that we have a
Then
talk,
that's civil,
well,
right?
yeah.
How would you go about that?
Well, we're gonna have a couple.
Release the attack possum.
Most likely, we're gonna release the attack possum.
Get the cage.
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna lose you right now, laddie.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring something fucking very ominous and scary to the fucking house. I'm gonna have a grown man pissing himself, and I'm gonna look. I'm gonna release this fucking tarantula. I'm gonna shove him right up your fucking ass.
Right. Oh,
Either fix,
tarantula.
yeah, fix your fucking kid.
Right.
You won't let me have one.
I had a bird eater, and
Oh,
I
man, I
would
love
have totally
bird eaters.
given it to
Oh
you.
man.
Because this fucker was too fast.
Yeah.
I will deal with alligators, Komodo dragons every day, but you give me a goddamn Brazilian bird eater, and I'm just like, God. Because they're so unpredictable. They could just sit there, and you're like, I'm gonna put this mouse in there for you to eat. Oh, son of a bitch, he's running up. No.
Oh my God!
You're not ready for it.
It's on my head.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Couldn't expect it. Fuck that. Nope.
Fuck.
Right.
Anyway, but that's all for tonight, folks. So, hope you guys learned to take care of your goddamn animals, take care of your goddamn kids,
Yeah,
and take
watch
care
your
of your
fucking
goddamn
kids.
self. For fuck's sake. If
for
you can't
fuck's
love
sake.
yourself, you can't love anybody else.
True story.
And don't forget the fire plan.
And don't forget the fire
plans.
plan. Fire
Always
plan's
good to have.
important. Definitely.
Always good to have.
All right, so on that note, what? Just Jake?
Yep, I'm just Jake.
Danger Dan?
Reptile Manchan.
And our two special guests this evening.
Eric?
Alexis.
Signing off for this evening. Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
We'll see you again next time.
Thanks for having me guys on the show.
Bye.
For fuck's sake.
Dude, I'm
was
telling you what, dude, the fucking spider
That
thing,
was
dude.
probably one of the best shows I've ever done.
You think so? Oh my God.
You carried a good
Dude,
one.
I love the freaking fire
I
plan.
held my own.
See, I missed the fire plan, so